maximum impining sunlight could be absorbed. So for that, following fundamentals, I will briefly discuss the surface plasmons, localized surface plasmons, nano-antennas, extraordinary transmission. So let us see surface plasmon polariton, as many of us are working already on that, but briefly, SPPs they are called. SPPs are transverse magnetic electromagnetic waves trapped on metal dielectric interface. At the interface of electric field component is normal and maximum decays exponentially away. So this is a trapped electron cloud oscillation which is trapped around the metal and dielectric interface. Okay. So next is this is the propagating form of surface plasmons, and the other one is localized form when it is trapped. So we can see that here is a particle. If suppose a particle is having size which is lesser than the wavelength, we can say the submicron level. So and this resonant condition, that means this is the metallic dielectric constant and this is the dielectric constant of the dielectric. So if such condition is met, then the electron cloud present on the interface could oscillate with the impining sunlight. So this is the form of localized surface plasmons. So now coming on to the nano antennas. So these are the downscaled version of radio wave antennas. So we know that antenna converts the EM waves into the VI waves. Here actually the nano antenna which covers the optical frequencies and catches them. So in nano antennas, this is the one of the fabrication year 2005, where we can see that confinement of energy is taking place in between there. So this is nothing but the localized surface plasmon. So when we measured this, so this the confinement of energy is multifold over here. So that means the impining radiation uh, is confined here. So that is what our target is, that we will place the antennas in the solar cell and we will create such bright spot where the light confinement, or we can say the light trapping, could be enhanced. And one of the fundamental is extraordinary transmission. So here we can see that there is a metal perforated film when it is having light impined on one side. So it has been reported that when the refractive indices of both the sides of the perforated film they are equal, then maximum transmission is achieved. So extraordinary transmission is nothing but the transmission which is much more anticipated than corresponding to the geometrical area of a particular pole. So now we begin the explanation of the nano antennas for solar cell. So what kind of antennas we should use for solar cell? So basically the sunlight is actually unpolarized in nature. Unpolarized, that means it consists of both the perpendicular polarization. So our one of the requirement is that it should resonate in the given band, in this particular band of the visible spectrum, and it uh, it should respond to the both the orthogonal components of the light. So here, one of the reported work is my reported work, which is Euler spiral nano antennas. So it will be placed on the top surface of the absorber layer. So these are the simulation parameters. That means, as we already discussed, that in solar cell, means in optical frequencies, the metals do not behave like a perfect electric conductors. So in that scenario, we have to model their dielectric constant. So for that we use a brood model, and for that we model this silver, whatever material we use for the implementation of nano antenna. So these are the coefficients which have been used to model the silver. And here I have used the CST Studio Suite, and these are the meshing details, hexagonal and lines per wavelength and all. So the parent design of this particular antenna is the dipole nano antenna. Dipole nano antenna is the very much known to us that it is having two horizontal stripes separated by one gap. So we can see that it is responding the parallel to this particular polarization when electric field is aligned to the layer. When it is having subjected to the perpendicular polarization, there is no confinement present over here. So since we target such antennas which gives equal response to both the perpendicular polarization, that are antennas which we should design. So for that, this modification is bending the edges of the dipole and following the Archimedean spiral equation. So this is the equation for Archimedean spiral, and by giving these parameters, we are bending the edges of the dipole nano antennas, and the bending is performed in 5 steps. So up to which point we are bending? We are bending that this is the response with respect to the this polarization. Okay, so here we can see that almost equal electric field enhancement is seen. But when we are bending the edges, then we can see that there is sequential increase in the electric field enhancement. And at fifth stage, fifth step, we can see that the antenna is equally responding to both the perpendicular polarizations. So then this is the animation diagram for that. We can see the bright spot where maximum confinement of energy is taking place, and since we require more number of bright spots, so we can use it in turnstile manner. So in this way, we will have much more brighter spots and much more confinement present. So here the performance is shown with respect to the polarization change for different angles, where theta is the angle with respect to x-axis. So we can see that after implementing the design, we have optimized the thickness, that on which thickness the maximum electric field enhancement is taking place, and then we are placing this design on the top of the solar cell. So now we will see the performance of the solar cell. So we can see that this inside the when it is placed inside the solar cell, means on the top of the absorber layer, it is resonating at this particular wavelength, and this is definitely under the visible range of the spectrum. So it is the means distribution of electric field on the absorber layer surface of the Tesla. Means we have named this Tesla because this is an Euler spiral used in turnstile manner, turnstile Euler spiral nano antennas. So then we can see this, and in the absence of any such antenna element, we can see the surface of the absorber layer, that there is negligible confinement of energy as compared to this these three. Here we can see that polarization is keep on changing, but the confinement we are getting is significant. So this confinement results in the absorption enhancement of the solar cell. We can clearly see the absorption here, which is close to 99%, and this is the quantum efficiency, which is actually conversion of the photons into the electron hole pair. So here we actually quantify the performance in terms of photocurrent enhancement factor. So which is actually 1.39. That means 39% current enhancement is taking place by using turnstile Euler spiral nano antenna with the conventional nano antenna in this way, conventional solar cell pattern. Now the other way of using the antenna, that one of the main factors of low efficiency of solar cell was that the impining radiation was getting reflected back from the top surface of the solar cell. So for that we use the anti-reflection coating. So anti-reflection coating is made of indium tin oxide. So that gives some bandwidth. But our idea behind this work is that if we place a resonant antenna structure inside the anti-reflection coating, then it could enhance the bandwidth of the uh, anti-reflection coating, and it will further minimize the reflection losses. So here is the proposed structure. It is having back reflector of silver, absorber layer of amorphous silicon, and this work is published in Applied Physics A. So these are the simulation details. This work is verified by both micro CST Studio Suite and numerical FTTT also. And to verify the result, we have seen that their matching degree is higher. Okay. So now for this, actually, I would first introduce about the anti-reflection coating. So anti-reflection coating is designed. Suppose this is your solar cell, and this is the top layer of the solar cell, which is nothing but your anti-reflection coating. So the anti-reflection coating is given by H expression, which is lambda upon 4n cos theta, where theta is the impining angle. So in this way, it can be considered as zero. Means it is actually the height of the indium tin oxide at which the cancellation of the two reflected beams could take place. Means one from the top surface here, means on the top of the anti-reflection coating and on the top of the absorber layer. So these two reflected beams could get cancelled when the thickness is taken as per this formula. But we will try to place one antenna inside this anti-reflection coating, which would also resonate at this particular wavelength. So that will be combined effect of anti-reflection coating and the antenna placed inside the uh, anti-reflection coating. So here we can see that this is a Yagi-Uda structure. So this is the structure which we have placed inside the anti-reflection coating, by which the effective bandwidth of the anti-reflection coating could be enhanced by embedding a nano antenna having the same resonant wavelength. So this is for done. The simulation is done to achieve the optimized performance in terms of electric field enhancement. So here we can see the far field pattern of the anti-reflection coating. That this is a simple form of anti-reflection coating, that is conventional one. Here we can see the back lobes, and this is the proposed anti-reflection coating, which is embedded with Yagi-Uda nano antenna. So we can see that here the reflection lobes are absent. So and this is of absorber layer profile in corresponding cases. So we can see that the confinement of energy is much more. We are using a modified anti-reflection coating, which here it is comparison in terms of anti-reflection coating, but when we embed antennas first with dipole, fractional bandwidth is increased. So we have measured the fractional bandwidth at minus 10 dB. So means by using the uh, proposed modified anti-reflection coating, the reflection could be minimized in this bandwidth with simple. And if reflection is minimized, so will absorption enhancement percent highest absorption is seen in the simulation. So, and also we have calculated the loss which could be possible by uh, metallic structure which we have been used. So we can see that very negligible loss is taking place because of the inclusion of the metallic nanostructures. So losses are small, that they do not affect the absorption significantly. And this is the uh, with the different array spacing, we have optimized the result that we are getting maximum at 300 nanometers. So we can see that because in 300 nanometers, we are not having any side lobes and back reflection lobe. Here in 400 and 500, we can see that there is confinement and direction of the sunlight in the anti-reflection coating. So these are the performance evaluation parameters for this particular configuration. And then the third way which I'm going to talk about is the performance enhancement based on in this approach. This is recently published work of mine. This is published in Optical Material X, and this title is Smart City Compact Antenna. So here we can see this design that it is having black silver rear electrode, and on top this, we are having absorber layer, then perforated film of gold, and then this is perforated film layer of gallium arsenide. On top of that, we are having a gold patch. So we can, before giving the details of this, I would revise what is extraordinary transmission. We know that what is transmission, and what is extraordinary about the transmission is that when the light impinges on this surface, then corresponding to this geometrical area, the light will come out. But when the in case of extraordinary transmission, due to the inclusion of surface plasmon polaritons, the light comes out of this hole with in much more intensity as compared to the corresponding to the geometrical area of this hole. And this is the phenomenon of extraordinary transmission. So I have already increased if the hole is subjected to same refractive indice on both of its sides. So here, this is also gallium arsenide, and this is also gallium arsenide, small thinner layer. So due to the refractive index matching, the light passes with maximum transmission. And there it is metallic patch nano antenna, so which also further acts as nano antenna. So there are two performance increasing factors. One is extraordinary transmission, and the other is nano antennas, patch nano antenna on the top. So these are the simulation details. The work has been performed in numerical FTDT, in the meshing boundary conditions, and boundary conditions we always use here, the periodic boundary conditions in all the simulations of solar cell, because we simulate the unit cell and we try to replicate the performance that in wider area. Okay, so these are the layers, dimensions. Fine. So this is the proposed design in and the range with silver ground film of 400 nanometers, first gallium arsenide layer 365 nanometers, gold film with square holes like this, and this is the cross-sectional view of this design. So this is giving a comparison that without patch, what will be the transmission, and with patch, what is the transmission. So I will discuss this in detail. Let's move further.
So, so
So
last,
this is just
excuse me, sir, last five
yes, Amit.
minutes. Only last 5 minutes.
Yeah, this is the last. Means I think it is about to end only.
Okay, sir.
It's how much time I have?
The last 5 minutes you have. So around, try to finish it
Okay,
in
okay.
two,
I
three
will conclude.
minutes.
I will conclude.
Okay, sir.
Okay, Amit. Okay. Thank you for reminding. Okay. So this is the comparison between the array hole, means periodicity of this hole. So we have first optimized the transmission in terms of the periodicity of the hole. So we have seen that it is responding maximum in 300 nanometers. So after this, we can see the uh, profile of the absorber layer, that when that we can see that uh, confinement of energy is there in case of 615 nanometer, which is actually the highest means transmission. Okay, because it is taking place due to the extraordinary transmission, and by this formula we have calculated the absorbed power, and these are the mathematical details which we have used to model this work now. And to convert the uh, optical to electrical conversion, this is the formula for current, that is summation of the drift current with diffusion current. This is first term is drift and diffusion. These are the parameters. Okay, then applying the anti-reflection coating, we can further minimize the reflection. Okay, so this is the comparison in terms of the quantification parameters, that we can see clearly that by applying the properly array spacing, we can increase the efficiency, and by using the anti-reflection coating, we can further enhance the um, efficiency. So by what addition the metallic patch is doing here? So we can we have to check this by observing the cross sectional pattern of the magnetic field intensities, tangential component H bar. Okay, so we can see this. This is what the uh, distribution of Hy, which is the tangential magnetic field component. So we can see that in the absence there is lesser, but when we are increasing the patch size, the confinement of Hy is increasing. And by the Maxwell equation, we know that del cross H is equals to J. So when H is increasing, so definitely J will also increase. And J is nothing but our surface plasmon polaritons. Okay, so due to this placement of a metallic patch, the surface plasmon is increasing further, and it is resulting in the highest form of absorption as well. So this is in terms of light transmission, and we can see the subsequent result in the absorption, current density, and power density. Everything is increasing by inclusion of the metallic patch nano antenna and the external transmission. So this could be the future scope of the work, that hybrid performance enhancement model, where we can use these techniques combinedly, that anti-reflection coating modified on the top and extraordinary transmission on the surface, and Tesla means this antenna on the surface of this. So this is the comparison in terms of photocurrent enhancement factor. That, but point to be noted that this particular thing is modeled on the gallium arsenide. And one advantage of using these technique is what these are phenomena oriented techniques. So by these could work for other materials also, but this will change the resonant frequency and somewhat designs. These are the references, and if there are any questions, please
Thank you, sir. On
I'm
behalf of
open to
IEEE
answer.
MTTS, yes, sir. On behalf of IEEE MTTS Student Branch Chapter, I would like to thank Pahuja, sir, Dr. Abhishek Pahuja, sir, for such an elaborated yet brief talk on nano antennas for plasmonic enhanced thin film solar cells. Sir, I request all the participants in the audience to send the questions, sir, in his social media handles, as we are lined up with the another talk by Dr. Anil Rajput, sir. Thank you, sir, for such detailed discussion.
Amit,
I,
I'm not able to hear you
oh,
properly.
sir, am I audible properly now? I
Yeah,
think,
you are audible, but is there any question?
sir, I think uh, actually I have requested all the participants to send you the questions in your social media handles, because we are lined up with the another talk.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I just thank you
Yes, and my
of
I
IEEE
want to convey
MTTS.
that I'm open for collaboration, and if anyone is interested to take part in this field, so I will be happily collaborating for this work.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I request all the participants to go through another link of Dr. Anil Rajput sir's talk, and please come back to Zoom from that link, as this link is going to just complete. Thank you, sir.